What is going on, everybody? I hope you all are having a great day. So today we are starting daily uploads. Today is February 25th. We are starting daily uploads until March 2nd, which is the day that I posted my first YouTube video. I am today going to be talking about why I decided to purchase a house. Just thought I'd make a quick video. Every single day isn't really going to be like an upload of like what I recorded that day. I have a ton of videos. I'm falling back into that thing that I fell into a couple months ago when I did daily uploads for like 5 or 6 days, where I have a ton of videos that I recorded because I have such a great time recording videos. It's honestly so much fun recording. I just hate having to edit them. Reason being is because the way that I talk, I know a lot of you guys have noticed it's a lot of like whatever. And I'm still not that I'm not comfortable talking to a camera. It's just like I literally talk like this in person, and so it's kind of hard to like edit that out. That takes a ton of time. I don't know if you guys have noticed, I've really like stopped doing that kind of recently, but yeah, so I have a hard time finding the time to edit. It's really easy just to pick up the camera and start recording, but to actually take the time to sit down and edit a video and do a great job is very difficult for me. And so I just have not been wanting to edit, and therefore the videos haven't been being posted. So I've got a couple of videos that do need to be posted, whatever. Why don't we jump into this video? Before I do, I'm sorry. Some videos are gonna be daily uploads. I don't know if I've already mentioned that, but some videos will be daily uploads. I'll have a couple more topics that I wanna cover about this house before we get to March 2nd, which will kind of be like a reflection of my year on YouTube and how I've felt, because it's something that I've always wanted to do. So why don't we jump into why I decided to purchase a home. Oh, hey baby. This is my cat. She is the only pet I have besides those fish. She's 12 years old. We've had her since she's a kitten, and she was like my one thing that I actually had moving into this house. I had absolutely nothing planned. No, not even a bed. I didn't even bring my own bed, or my old bed. As you guys saw, I bought a new mattress or whatever, but she's the only thing that was like guaranteed to be in this house. So she's super cute. She's an ass, but whatever. Go. All right, let's get into exactly why I wanted to buy a house. So there's a couple reasons for this. One of them, and to kind of start off, I have two friends that bought a house before me. Their names are Carter and Paul. You guys know Carter. He was on the Spicy Chip Challenge video with me. And then Paul, you guys have never seen. Paul has been like my lifetime friend. I've known him since I was like 1 or 2 years old. He actually used to live really close to me, like 5 minutes away with his parents. He's like 1 year old. He's 6 months older than me. And he was he got married, and he was just like, hey, you know what? I need to buy a house. And so he bought a house. I think it was like literally like 3 weeks before he got married, which is awesome. Really good for him. He never had to rent or anything like that. He just went straight from his parents to a house. He was 20, I think he was 22 or 23 when he bought his home. And then Carter, he bought second. He built a townhome in West Valley, like 20 minutes away, 30 minutes away from me. Paul's like 40 minutes away. Carter was able to like design his own home. He's actually a plumber, and so he was able to like go in and actually plumb his own house, which is super cool. Like the faucets, it was really nice, and Carter does a really great job at plumbing, and so really great for him that he was able to do that. Anyways, Paul bought a house. I think his was like 1 or 2 years old. Not a big deal. It doesn't really matter. He still has a house. It's a townhome. Both Carter and Paul live in townhomes, and I live in a house, like property-wise, whatever. So they bought, and in my mind, kind of like competitively, kind of just like out of almost jealousy, I was like, damn, like, I'm their age, why don't I have a house? And I've always been saving up for it. Granted, they're a little bit better at saving than I am, but that's not a big deal. That doesn't really have anything to do with it. But I never really put my money into other places, and so I've just always been saving it and getting ready for this day. And so there's reason number one. Reason number two was, it's kind of funny. My mom, I was literally just driving one day. I was 21 years old. I had no intentions. Obviously, like my friends had bought these houses, but I had no intentions of like wanting to buy a house or anything like that. Like I was looking, but not like, I need one. I was just, looking around, especially with the market getting crazy. I was kind of like waiting, seeing what would happen, which by the way, I'm glad I didn't wait, because it's insane. I was driving, and my mom was like, hey, buy a house. And that was literally the conversation we had. She was like, it's time, might as well. And I said, okay. So they were building these houses out in Centerville. It was a neighborhood that Ivory Homes was building as well. I obviously built with Ivory. But it was in this neighborhood, 5 minutes away from where I live right now. And the way that it worked was like, we went through a couple of meetings to design the house because it hadn't been built yet, and pick the home and design it and whatever. And on the final day, I was kind of like still a little on the fence about buying this home in particular because the property was kind of like this diamond shape. And if you can imagine, in the back of the property, it all comes to a point. And at this, so comes to a long point, and at this point about right here, this triangle area at the end, was a retention pond because it was a subdivision. It was a neighborhood built inside of a already existing neighborhood, and so it had to have its own drainage. At least that's how it works here in these cities or whatever. Had to have its own drainage, and all the drainage. Every house had like a little bit of their land to like go to drainage, but it all went down into my home. And so at the end of my backyard, there was this like retention pond is what they called it. It wouldn't always be full of water, but there was always going to be this slope and this little dip in the back of my backyard for it. And I wasn't like necessarily 100% set as to where that slope or dip would be or how big it would be or where my house would sit on this property. And so we kind of got to looking at it, and it was super strange. The house that we had picked out and the land, like this retention pond was like a third of my backyard, which if you know me, I love grass. I love big backyards. My backyard's not huge, but it's a hell of a lot bigger, and it's actually square, whatever. Took up a third of my backyard. That was ridiculous. I only had like 3 to 4 feet of space of property from the corner on one side of my house, and then a good amount on the other side, but it was just like super dumb. And then my driveway would have been like 60 feet, which is insane. So I definitely didn't want to deal with that. And so I literally like last minute, kind of a dick move. We kind of backed out of that. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I really don't want to deal with that. My mom agreed with me. It was just a really stupid place. So I was like, hey, you know what? Not a big deal. And luckily they were building this neighborhood, which is really close to my parents' house actually. And not all the houses have been sold here yet. And so I was like, hey, you know what? Why don't we build here? We built here. Obviously we decided to buy here. Crappy thing was that this neighborhood is a lot nicer than the other neighborhood, like caliber of homes wise. So I had to pick a whole new house, design it completely differently. Everything had to be changed, which was like really frustrating. It was a bunch more money. Obviously the property is bigger, the house is bigger, everything is much bigger. There was like certain requirements, like I had to have a 3-car garage, which now, thank goodness, I got a 3-car garage. And I'll talk about that like in designing more in a future video later this week. Yeah, so we decided to build here. Really awesome. I'm glad I did. I'm a lot happier than I would have been out there, I think. That neighborhood, in my opinion, kind of a little cuter. This is just like, it's a cute neighborhood. It's really nice. I think I might have the smallest house here, but it doesn't matter. I'm 23 years old and everybody around me is 40 with 4 kids, which great for them, whatever, but I'm really happy for myself. And then the final reason, kind of almost the most important one, I've never wanted to rent a house. I hate the idea of renting. This is my personal opinion. Don't, think I'm a jerk or whatever for saying this. If you are renting, there's like no like bad feelings. Like I don't think you're dumb or anything like that. I just personally think that renting is stupid. I hate paying somebody else and throwing my money away and literally making them richer. Like it's just really stupid to me. It's a dumb concept. And a lot of people have to do it because, at times, especially before this whole market's gotten crazy, because now rent is a mortgage, like it's the same amount, if not more. Back then, it could be a little cheaper. You could be saving yourself some money and whatever. But I just never wanted to rent a house. I wanted to make sure that the day I got married, I wouldn't have to go through the stress. Kind of what Paul went through. I remember before he got married, he was like looking at apartments and stuff like that. Luckily, he bought a house. I'm really happy for him. It's super cute. I never wanted to have to go through that. So I've always wanted to just be like, you know what? Hey, we're married. We don't have to worry about where we're going to live. We don't have to pay rent. We don't have to be like, okay, well, we can pay this much in rent, but then we also have to set aside this much to afford a down payment on a house. I just wanted to make sure I got that all out of the way. Anybody that I marry, they'd be walking into this and we wouldn't have to be able to go through that stress, which is awesome. So that is the main 3 reasons that I decided to purchase a home. Not really like that special. I am 23 years old right now, and I think I'm very fortunate to be able to have a home. I'm very blessed, and I thank my mom every day. I would have never been able to be like, oh yeah, this is the time to buy a house. It's kind of tough because there is a time that you need to buy, but like I don't think I would have ever told myself like, hey, today's the day. And I don't even know if it works like that, but I'm really happy that my mom called me that day and was like, hey, you know what, it's time to buy. She had actually like already been talking to people about this, and talking to some Ivory realtors and whatnot. And yeah, she calls me. She's like, hey, you know, we've been talking to these people. We think it might be smart for you to start to buy a house, especially before this market gets even crazier, which thank goodness I did. Holy heck, this market is insane, you guys. But anyways, that was why I decided to buy a house. Why don't you tune in tomorrow? It'll either be a video about the garage and me finishing that up. That is all done as of the time of recording this video. I just need to post them. So either that, or I'll probably do the next would be like the designing process of a house and what you go through to do that. Stick around for that, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Y'all have a great day. Later.